we good? Okay. All right, welcome everybody. We'll call this meeting of the Cecil Township Planning Commission to order on July 21st, 2022, 7 p.m. First on the agenda is the approval of minutes from our June meeting.
Copy of them. There's supposed to be a copy in the packet?
I apologize. I did not receive a copy of the minutes. Did anybody prepare them or send them to me?
I wasn't here.
Yeah, you weren't here.
Can't be blamed.
Yeah.
And Dave
I
wasn't,
abstained.
so it was the three of us that were here. I did look when I got home.
Okay.
I scribbled some minutes as
Okay.
we went, but I thought that one of you were taking the
It's
official
okay.
minutes.
The video's out there, so whoever wants to, we can,
I have it. I can
okay.
type minutes up for next month's
Okay.
review, but I didn't, I thought that my notes were just secondary.
Okay.
So I could double check back.
Okay, sounds good.
We'll take care of that. All right. So we'll approve those next month. Moving on to old business, application 2022-0019, Serenzia Building Addition Site Plan. Applicant HMT and Associates, Mr. Kreider. Yes, sir.
That's sufficient.
Can you get, there was sheet, there we go, that's the only one, that's all I need.
I'm taking minutes now. Yeah, I'm gonna take minutes.
That's good, that'll work.
I appointed myself, yes.
Yeah, this
Now it's
is,
on record. Thank you.
this is just for an accessory structure to the existing Serenzia self-storage on Route 50. It's just a building for their use for the tractors and whatever equipment they need for the self-storage facility. They're probably a pickup truck, lawnmowers, that type of thing.
Where's this at?
And I apologize, that's not the revised plan has very small rain garden. That's our jack, it's probably not on there.
Okay, I sent it to Liz.
That we added to take care of
Yeah.
the roof drains for the building.
Okay.
Okay.
Send her the one you gave.
Yeah. Anybody has any questions?
Sorry, give us a minute, please.
All right. So what is this building being used for?
For the self-storage facility, for equipment, that type of thing, for the storage facility, for the buildings.
Okay, so this is, so it's not additional storage.
It is not, not at all.
It's being used as
Accessory building.
an accessory building, like
Accessory building,
a maintenance storage building for the property.
yes. Yeah, and we put, the note's not on that, on the sheet that's on there, but we have a big note on the plan. Proposed cold storage is an accessory structure, not to have rental spaces, and is to be used solely by the owner.
Okay.
It's the wrong use of there, but, you know, it's just
Right. Yeah.
Catholic upbringing, sorry. I said it was the wrong use of there. It should be Their. I said it's just,
I was,
I was raised Catholic, so, you know, beaten into me as a child.
right.
Okay, don't do it again.
goodness.
Mr. Carter, may I ask why it's cold storage if it's just for the use of things like a tractor or pickup
Yeah.
trucks?
The cold storage, there's not going to be no utilities in it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, it's not cold.
Sorry, when I
as in
say cold, I-
Yeah, no, it's just cold storage. There's no water, no sanitary, none of that. Just electric will be it.
Okay, how big is it in comparison to the rest of the storage?
It's 4,500 square feet building.
How big is the rest of the property?
Oh,
Or how many, like, storage units are there? Is it 4,500 square feet of storage units and 4,500 square feet of this?
total property is 28 acres.
Oh, okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Okay. Yeah, and the
I
existing
couldn't see
buildings
that.
are roughly 8,000 square feet.
So a
The
little
ones
over
that are there,
50%.
this is just away from the site, it's just for their.
And what's going to be in it is just for maintenance and
No
assistance of the
rentals,
property?
That's right, no rentals, no anything.
Okay, thank you.
So I guess the only issue is about being able to ensure compliance with that, listing it on the plan, give something to work with, but how does that, I guess the only concern is how is that policed moving forward, that space would only be used?
Well, it's an accessory structure, just like an accessory structure is to a house that they put a shed on. You know what I mean? It's an accessory structure.
I mean, someone could take a accessory structure and suddenly build it out on the inside, and start living in it. I mean, it's a matter of somebody in the township or somebody noticing it, reporting it, that, hey, now there's someone renting that and living in it.
This is pretty obvious, it's right along the road.
Right.
So the ordinance addresses accessory structures. It's permitted in all zoning districts. Accessory structures shall be incidental and subordinate to and commonly associated with the operation of the principal use of the property. It shall be operated and maintained under the same ownership on the property or adjoining property under the same ownership as the principal use. So that's the definition. There's for commercial accessory structures, there's no limitation on size.
Okay. And then, Dan, you had a letter as well?
Yeah, so we reviewed the plan, and he does, Kerry does have notes on there related to the structure and what it's being used for, so that's good. And also, this comes in right under the requirement for stormwater management, even though they put in a small rain garden. So I just had them put a note on there that they would have to comply with full stormwater management criteria if the building was expanded in the future. I just want to make sure the roof water was dealt with, and it looks like they did a good job because they're taking it to the side away from the steep slope. There's a drop off there, probably what, 10 feet right on the edge there. So you're gonna carry the water away there that it doesn't run down over the slope and then the building falls down. Okay, good. So I'm okay. The revised plan as submitted, I'm good with it. Further questions?
Okay. Any other questions?
Nope.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve Cerenzia Self-Storage Facility Addition, application number 20220019, contingent upon the two items in the letter from Gateway Engineers dated July 21st, 2022 being addressed.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
That's scary. We'll see it.
Mr. Chairman, give me a few minutes to get Mr. Chalmers on here.
Sure.
It's this one. It says it in it.
Chad, is this the one?
Yes, it is.
This one here. This is it.
Yeah.
There's the creek.
Mm-hmm.
Panhandle Trail.
Gotcha.
Can you see the screen okay?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Chairman, I think we're ready.
Okay, next item on the agenda is application 2022-0020, Freed Commercial Building Site Plan.
Good evening, Commissioners. I appreciate the opportunity to present this project on Millers Run Road. My name is Chad Chalmers. I'm an architect, and I've been involved in developing this existing bank building. It was previously a PNC Bank building. The proposed use is to change it into an office space for Mr. Freed's company, and we've showing a small addition on the side of the house, on the side of the building, as well as a garage in the back for storage. This will all be owned and rented by the same person. This isn't intended to be rented out. There'll be an office building for his office. We did receive comments back from the Gateway engineers, and I think that we did respond to every one of those comments. I think you may have a copy of those, but we also have that available for everyone to take a look at as well. We are under the requirement for stormwater because of the minor addition that we're proposing on the site doesn't exceed the requirements for stormwater. In addition, we've provided striping, parking, and ADA spots as required by code, as well as screening and landscaping on the facility. There is, I don't know if you want to take a look at some of those comments, but you may have a copy of the actual letter itself. But I think we have addressed each one of those comments.
Yeah, a lot of, my letter dated July 21st, there were just a lot of statements that were issued in there, but the ones that did require addressing on the plan have been addressed. I just made statements, again, like Mr. Chalmers indicated, that they didn't need stormwater management. They have provided landscaping. They have a photometric plan. So Chad, are there any dumpsters or is the refuse can all be done inside?
No, the dumpsters are shown in the plan. If you actually zoom down or pan down on the screen.
Okay. Are they in an enclosure?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm not sure that you have the newest plan. I thought you did, but the newest plan that we had sent over shows the enclosure at the bottom.
Yeah, I don't see it here.
Yeah, I see it now.
Okay, because we did send in a revised plan as per the comments and showed the dumpster enclosure at the bottom of the plan right there.
Yes.
That's the lighting plan that we submitted. If you go all the way up to probably the first set of drawings there.
Landscape.
Hey, Dan, you referenced a letter dated July 21st, but the letter we have is delayed July 14th. Is there a new,
I apologize. She checked the plan for me and she put a revised date on the letter. My letter was dated July 14th. I'm sorry.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you've gone too far, actually. I'm sorry about that. You have to scroll down a little more to the site plan itself and then zoom into the dumpster enclosure.
Okay, you have control of it, so you should be able to. Can you?
Oh, no, this is, you have control. Oh,
Yep.
perfect. I do now. Yeah, this is the old plan. If I can share for 1 minute, there was a new plan sent over to Gateway and the township. Let me see if I can grab control here for a second. It is not letting me grab the control, but there was a plan submitted with the dumpster in this area here.
Okay.
And I think this is outdated, but we definitely addressed that.
Yeah, we have it.
Okay.
So Dan, you've indicated that all the items on of your letter from July 14th have been addressed?
They've been addressed, yeah. I'm in a position to give a clean letter on this.
Jack, does the township have any additional comments? Anybody have any additional questions or concerns? Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to approve application number 2022-0020, the 3337 Millers Run Road Building Addition, contingent upon Gateway's letter of July 14th, 2022.
I'll second the motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Be back.
Let me know when you're ready, Jack.
Chad, I can take it from here.
There you go.
All right, I have first choice up next.
Yes. Next item on the agenda, application 2022-0021, First Choice Building Site Plan.
Anybody here representing? No. All right, this is, I only have one of one on the, I believe I put the photos in front of you over there. I only had one set, so I can pass those around if you wanted to.
Did you look at all
I
of them?
saw him, yeah.
Okay.
Bless you.
As I mentioned, it was in front of the zoning hearing board. It passed zoning hearing board on Monday, and this is to consider the addition.
Now, wouldn't a key to this, though, Jack, be the item number 3 on Gateway, that the McDonald's Sewage Authority must
It is, and that's
approve the plan?
one of the things.
I believe Jamie Harshman had sent an email saying that Midway Sewer Authority had approved.
I saw that today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Haven't seen documentation to support that, but I did see an email indicating that.
Yeah, there's a
Midway.
letter from the authority.
You have it? Wonderful.
Right.
I also have here, if it helps anybody, you saw it already.
Yeah, I
right
did
there.
see that as well.
I went today on Google Maps and printed off the aerial.
Thank you.
This is before that addition was put on. As I understand it, part of the existing structure you see there collapsed. Then they went to repair it and did a repair/addition, which is what you see in those other pictures. Is that correct, Jack?
That was testimony this past Monday. So
Okay.
just so you know, that video is online for anybody to see it.
I mean, with no one here representing them, if we have questions,
Dan and I can answer as best we can.
I mean, what's this building going to be used for?
Right now is approved for office, so the addition is going to include office space. office workers, 2 managers, and a secretary, administrative assistant type. From the testimony Monday, there's going to be no in and out traffic. Basically, HVAC/plumbing company like this, it's a specific business model that has them working from their homes and vans. Any equipment or product that is needed, one of the 2 managers will take it to the site for these HVAC/plumbers. So they will not be, it will not be in and out traffic.
So this is a commercial operation, not just working on homes per se?
Their website indicates that they do both residential and commercial.
Okay.
Right.
I was on that today.
So, I mean, with being an HVAC company, I mean, obviously, okay, the trucks, the individual service trucks are at, each worker's house. But what about, getting units in, ductwork, equipment, supplies? I mean, is that going to be stored in the building or?
That's, if you look at the length of the building, a significant amount of that is going to be for storage of those types of materials. And that's where the managers come in and will deliver it to the site.
Is the building sufficient enough to hold everything they might have in storage? Because at times, obviously, things go up, things go down. So in peak times,
Yeah.
is that going to become a contractor's yard outside that building?
The concern is, I think, the key for the contractor's yard is if they store equipment outside, equipment being trailers and trucks and that type of thing. What they use for the HVAC/plumbing would be stored inside the building, from what I gleaned from the hearing on Monday.
I was able to watch a good portion of that hearing.
It's about an hour and 12 minutes.
Yeah, of just his portion of that hearing, yes. It was about an hour 50 total for the total hearing. So, Walt, I don't think you were here when this came before us a few months ago. And I forget if it was a lot consolidation or or lot line revision or some combination thereof, is when it originally came before us. But it is zoned R3, and there was pre-existing non-conformance.
But I mean, if it was a non-conforming use and they put an addition on, from a zoning hearing, so obviously that's not our purview to judge on that, but they created their own hardship by putting the addition on. And the board still approved it?
Yes.
Interesting, okay.
As I understand it, they approved it with conditions, though?
It did. The main condition being that they cannot store equipment out in the yard itself. Is that correct, Dan?
I don't know, I mean, my advice to the planning commission is that, well, a couple things.
You're on.
Just
to get closer.
As I understand from Liz, and she sent me an email this afternoon, is that there were conditions that came from the zoning hearing board. So I always recommend that whatever those conditions are, the zoning hearing board decision. It's working.
You're not close enough, please.
So it's my understanding that the conditions were from the zoning hearing board, and what I always have the applicant do would be, on a site plan such as this, they should reference that zoning hearing board decision, whatever it is that it's referenced on this plan. So that would refer whoever's looking at this plan in the future to those conditions, and make sure that if something's going on out there that shouldn't be going on, that they at least look at the conditions. The Board of Supervisors did look at this, and they granted for continuing/changing the non-conforming use, and they had a condition stating the board was not provided any evidence of previous outside storage that would be consistent with the pre-existing non-conforming use. Accordingly, any desire to store items other than those incidental to interior storage must be approved by application to the Cecil Township Zoning Hearing Board. So, Jack, I wasn't at the hearing. Did they did they say that there couldn't be any outside storage, or?
Yeah, that was the overarching condition. There's no outside storage.
Okay. So I think that's, I think that's the biggest issue. I mean, there's residents that live close by there. And depending upon where they're doing the work, I think it could affect the residents. So that sounds like they made a good decision on that. So I think at least my advice to the planning commission would be that whatever conditions that the zoning hearing board applied, that they be added to this plan. And it just be clear that, you know, maybe some additional comments such as, this can't become a contractor storage yard or something else like that. I mean, I know we're not, it's clearly intended to be used for an office and interior storage. And yes, trucks are gonna come in and out, but we don't want it to become a contractor's yard. So is that?
That's correct.
And is that what the zoning hearing board essentially said in their decision?
Yes.
Yeah.
But we don't have that yet, so maybe just to be sure that if this went on to the Board of Supervisors, that the Planning Commission recommend the zoning hearing board's decision or information be put on there. And just add one additional note that you know, outside storage, you know, something to the effect that it can't become a contractor's yard or used for contractors' storage of you know, equipment, trucks, other things to that nature which constitute a contractor's yard.
So, I mean, I think on our end, we normally always just reference Gateway's letter. Maybe in this one, we reference Gateway's letter and the findings, the ruling of the zoning hearing board from their 7/18 meeting. And then also, you know,
Well, you can add
Not with-
any conditions you want.
yeah, notwithstanding that, I think the concern there is to make sure that we don't contradict what the zoning hearing board said. So we said we do not, you know, it's our recommendation that it not become a storage yard, a contractor's yard, notwithstanding our recommendation. You know, we recommend that the conditions of the zoning hearing board findings, hearing, and the Gateway letter both be addressed. I mean, is that?
I would say addressed on the plans as far as the condition for zoning hearing board, as
You
Dan
want-
had mentioned. And
Yep.
I would also ask if Robinson Township has been notified, since it's so close.
Now, we talked about that last time. I remember.
Yeah.
Last time, whenever it came to us for the lot line revision or the consolidation, I can't remember what the specifics of that were, but it was clear to us at that point in time that Robinson Township was notified of that and knew what was going on. But I don't see it this time.
It's that property next to the bridge that's been out for forever. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was here for that. I remember
Okay.
now.
Okay.
It's across the stream from Stevenson.
Yeah.
Dan wasn't there to get to hear that. His original application to the zoning hearing board was for indoor warehouse storage, and that was all he asked for. That's what he's claimed was there in the past, and it was non-conforming, and they granted it. I think what you're talking about is that they came and requested a zoning change to commercial. I think that's the reference you're saying when you remember something about them being in front of you. They would have brought that request for a zoning change to you, and then the neighboring municipality would have been notified. But the township turned it down. Yeah.
It was a rezone.
Oh, it was a rezone
It
request.
was-
Okay.
It was applied originally as a
Okay.
rezone.
We had a hearing for
I
that.
remember them being here. I just don't remember what.
That's what it was for. They had to go to you first, and we had a hearing on it, then it was denied. But at the hearing, though, that he basically knew that, or what's the word? agreed that the zoning board just gave him indoor storage, but he says that he has a dump truck, it's flatbed, a stake bed, 3 excavators, and 2 covered, or those what are those called, con boxes?
Connex?
Yeah, Connex
Connex boxes.
boxes stored there, and he says, I don't consider that storage. So, I mean, that, because we had gotten a call that the neighbors, said he's already storing equipment there. He said, no, I said, he hasn't even opened yet. I says, he can't store equipment there. They said he is, and then when it came up, that he says that the equipment was there, but he doesn't consider that as storage. He thinks if he stores pipe and manholes and things like that, that's the only thing he's prohibited from storing there. You know, that's the issue there that I think we're gonna have a conflict with him on. I think Dan was right, if you say, I mean, just in another note, that a contractor's yard is only allowed in the I-1 zone, and it specifically says a contractor or a subcontractor who that stores material, vehicles, equipment, or company vehicles on the site, that's a contractor's yard, and basically that's, I think, it's an end run around.
The definition of a contractor's yard is a developed or vacant land used as a place of storage for general contractor or tradesman, including storage of construction equipment, materials, and company vehicles.
That's what's there right now. Said, did you see something? I didn't go up there yet. Maybe saw it. So, I mean, it's already turned into that, basically, and he just feels that meets the zoning board set. They said that he's only having indoor warehouse storage from, he calls it material. And I think, you know, if you don't put that on the plan, then we're gonna end up having an issue about that. So I think it'll just clarify it. I did ask the zoning hearing board that question there about not putting that as another condition. They said that condition's already in there. That's an enforcement issue if he's storing equipment there now. And I didn't disagree with them on that.
Thank you, Mr. Cassiola.
Yeah, good clarification, thank you. So, is there any more questions, or any more discussion of it? Or does somebody want to take a,
No, but I'm not sure I'm comfortable now that I hear these comments by Mr. Cassiola, because if there's some conflicting,
Here's my recommendation.
Okay.
As a planning commission, you're being asked to approve a site plan that has an addition on it. That's the purpose of it tonight. If we're already aware that there might be things going on there that are conflicting with what should be there, and that the zoning hearing board strictly approved it for interior storage, is what I'm hearing.
It's an enforcement issue at this point.
Right, yeah, it is an enforcement issue, but I think it would be better going to the Board of Supervisors, just to have clearly on there that the recommendation is that, you know, that this site plan should not constitute the approval of a contractor's yard. I think it could be as clear
I think that's a great way of saying it. That was-
clearly as that.
Yeah, that's
Put a note on the plan that says that.
maybe the most simple way of stating what we've all been trying to figure out how to word, so, thank you.
Did you write that down?
I didn't write it down.
I didn't think so.
The approval of the site plan shall not constitute the approval of a contractor's
Contractor's
yard.
yard.
Do you think that would give the board comfort? Yeah, all right,
It's pretty clear.
yeah.
That's on there, and it's
It covers the bases by doing that, I think.
Okay, approval of the site plan shall not constitute approval of a contractor's yard. Have that in parentheses, or quotation marks. I'll get my English right yet.
I just want to pick on Carrie, that's all.
Does somebody want to make a motion? And you can read what I have written here if whoever would like to make that motion, if that helps.
Oh, I'll make the motion.
There you go.
I make a motion to approve Application 2022-0021, First Choice Building Site Plan, contingent upon addressing the July 14th, 2022 letter from Gateway Engineers in accordance with the approval of the Zoning Hearing Board on July 18th, 2022, and approval of this site plan shall not constitute approval of a contractor's yard.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Should we say, have the, actually put on the plans themselves?
Yes.
So there's a request to amend the motion?
In addition to my motion, that the approval of the site plan shall not constitute approval of a contractor's yard, that note shall be added to the site plan for all future use and approvals.
I second that.
I'm writing, give me a moment. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, next on the agenda is application 2022-0022, McConnell Trails Phase 3B subdivision plan.
Good evening, Grant Showering with PV, representing McConnell Trails. Okay, we are here tonight for final approval for McConnell Trails Phase 3B. This is the last phase within the development. What you see on the screen right now is the overall PRD plan. Phase 3B is on screen left, here highlighted in red. That is adjacent to Burnside Road. This phase will include the connection down to Burnside. Zooming in, the phase includes 33 single-family lots. Those lots are 62 feet wide, consistent with the other single-family lots within the plan. So as you can see, this is the previous phase 3A. The connection will come downhill and then connect to Burnside Road. There is a detention pond located here, and there is the cluster mailbox location at the entrance drive here. We did receive Gateway's comment letter today, and all the comments are easily addressed. There is one comment under stormwater that I did speak with Mr. Dizeroth about regarding making sure that the stormwater pond has safe discharge locations at the Burnside Road connection. What we are going to do is go ahead and take a site walk out there just to confirm that there are no issues with the design. I do not believe there are, but we will go ahead and take that site walk just to review that location, since it has been some time since we've been out there.
Hey, Grant, on that same issue, there's an emergency spillway on the pond, right?
Correct.
And if the emergency spillway had to operate, it's just going to basically send the water down to Burnside Road.
Correct.
And then we're going to rely upon just that, is that a manhole or an inlet there?
There are a few inlets that are along Burnside Road, but the one you're talking about is there is an inlet there.
Yeah, so
This location here, there is an inlet. There's
So-
another inlet down
we had
the road.
I think I mentioned to you previously, I just got through another one of these in another community with the same type of a situation. We can look at this when we're out in the field, but I think we need to think about some sort of a little grading there and maybe pulling back another, like a little stilling basin or something off of the road that would be able to capture the emergency spillway water, at least attempt to catch it before it goes down over the hill. But I think we can look at that in the field and see if how that makes sense, like right above the trail, because actually the water's gonna head towards the Montour Trail, really.
Correct. The spillway location is generally here. So when if it were to engage with a 100-year-plus storm, then yes, it would go down onto the trail here, and then it would go down onto Burnside Road.
So I just think we need to think about how that's gonna all happen and have an additional safeguard. It's a redundancy, but it just something that I think the trail would appreciate that too. Ned's not here tonight. Wouldn't want to wash out the trail, number one, and then take everything down over the hill. And explain to the planning commission the operation of this detention facility.
So the detention facility is sized to control a 100-year storm event.
So that means that everything stays in the pond for a 100-year
Everything
storm.
stays in the pond for a 24-hour period, and it's slowly released through the outlet control system. And that outlet control system is located approximately here, and then it is conveyed through a pipe system that connects into the inlet within Burnside Road. That existing system has been studied, and we are not exceeding the pre-development rate that's discharged to that location. So we've studied this entire watershed and sized that basin appropriately to control the post-development rate of water that's leaving the site. So that 100-year, that emergency spillway that Mr. Dreiseroth is citing typically will not engage unless it's a large storm event. So I think to close on that, Dan, that
When we
in
say
the
large
field-
storm event, it would be over the 100-year storm. So the way the pond
Correct.
operates is the pond has holes in it, the outlet structure, that control different storm levels. When it reaches the top of the catch basin, there's a 2x4 box.
Correct.
And the water would go over the top of that like a weir. And that weir is designed to handle the 100-year storm.
Correct.
So the emergency spillway wouldn't operate unless it's beyond
Exceeding
100
100
storms.
years.
Or there's some major clog in the pond that would cause it to overflow. So we always put an emergency spillway in. It looks ominous, but it shouldn't be operational under almost any circumstances. I mean, we get 100-year storms. If there'd be a 500-year storm, it would operate, theoretically. But again, what I want to look at is, and I was only able to look at an aerial photograph when I was reviewing the plans, I didn't walk this. What Grant and I discussed is that they're not going to be able to, they're trying to get this approved, but they're not going to need to get it going until what, late fall, Andy, or next year, or what are you planning on doing with this? Move dirt?
We're moving dirt right now. We have to wait for permit for everything. We want to pave it because we're doing the off-site road improvement in August. So we want to construction traffic to access it starting this winter. So we're looking to get it paved, get any infrastructure in prior to that.
Okay. So you wouldn't look to go back to the Board of Supervisors until September?
Yes.
So that would give Grant and I time to get out there and at least walk it and make sure everything's okay, and make any adjustments to the pond.
I'd just like to note that we do have our NPDES approval. So I think the goal and what we're doing is to confirm the assumption and the designs are adequate when we make that site walk, and to confirm which direction that spillway is going to flow in a rare instance where it would engage, to make sure that it's not directed at any homes or structures, which is we currently have it would be going down the road, and we do not think that would happen.
Okay, well, I mean, we can verify that in the field. I just know that we've already had issues with residents adjoining this portion of the development already. So-
Understood, and we agree with the site walk, and that we can go and take a second look and just confirm everything that we have designed.
And then, the other issue that always comes up is, the Sportsman's Club that's up here? Isn't this right in the vicinity?
Club is along this border. This border.
Is it? Are there gonna be any, is there any need in this area is this where the buffers might occur or anything in here?
No, I
'Cause
met
that's gonna
with,
come up with the-
I've met with them several times, and we walked the entire site all along their perimeter, because the site where we're developing right now, Phase 3A, actually has the most impact.
Okay.
So, we're not looking to do anything at this time to add any additional mounding, and that's in agreement with them, because we looked at the way all their chute paths are going and the elevation change. And I shared the plans with them, and we looked at everything. There's one area in the cul-de-sac of Phase 3A where we may look to add some mounding, but it would all be on our property, not encroaching in the 50-foot buffer at this point. So, no, we've made them part of we've made them involved with the plan all winter and looking at it. I've agreed to do some trees and some stuff on our property for additional shielding, but we weren't looking at any extra protection at this point.
Just for the,
Is that so straight down from the cul-de-sac? I'm assuming that's what you're talking about in 3A?
Right where Grant's arrow is, yes.
So
There's
that's
two.
not a buildable lot there, right?
It's not, no. It's an open space, and the way that is, we're actually cutting, I think, 25 feet down. So there's quite a grade separation there, but there are two targets that come over in that direction. So if we do add mounding, and I haven't heard back from them whether they want to, we've told them we would. But that would be the only area we do. We had already gotten some variances for going into the 50-foot buffer where that straightaway is, across from where the townhouses are. That's where we're gonna be planting trees and doing additional things, but we weren't, the path of their shots weren't an issue there. And a lot of the concern, I think, came up through the winter when it was barren. And when we looked at it during the winter and we looked at it after, and it's a drastic change when the vegetation comes in. So I think seeing it with the vegetation and looking at their shots, that eased a lot of their concerns. But with the thought of additional trees and some things like that, they were okay. I think they were looking at relocating maybe 2 of their runs, just adjusting the angle, but it wasn't going to really impact their 3D shots or things like that. So I think they were pleased.
Is there any fencing along? I'm assuming that previously they probably didn't have fencing on the property
No,
line.
there's no fencing, and right now we mostly have berms, and then we agreed that we're going to do some type of signage or something all along that area.
I appreciate your explanation, Grant, of the system. So just to verify, just for the sake of my own peace of mind, so you've studied that whole system all the way down to the outflow into the stream down at the bottom?
No, we have not. We have studied to our point of interest, which is the inlet along Burnside Road. So we're confirming at that point that we're not exceeding the development.
So we have no idea right now if the existing stormwater management system along Burnside and going across Muse Bishop Road down into that, to where the discharge would be, is going to be able to handle water flow, stormwater from Burnside and outflow from the pond.
It's a 500-year storm, that road's going to become a river anyways.
No, I'm saying that pond still discharges out, right?
Oh, no, only in a major storm event, over the overflow.
Over the overflow,
Yeah.
correct. In addition to a 100-year storm, then yes, the emergency spillway. Right now,
Well, I wasn't talking about the
Talking
emergency
just general
spillway.
drainage.
Right, I'm just,
Understood.
right.
Understood. So, what we do when we analyze stormwater is we look at a point of discharge that we are directing the water to. So there are pre-development rates where we study the watershed that is going to that point of interest. And then through the stormwater regulations, state and federal and also local, we have to ensure that we are not exceeding the rate of discharge to that point we were studying. That is what we have confirmed with our analysis, is that the point we are connecting to, we are not increasing the rate of flow above what is existing conditions after our development.
I'll give you my speech on water, which I give people a lot, is basically riparian rights in Pennsylvania are that the upstream property has the right to drain downstream. The downstream property has a right to protect itself. And as long as you're not increasing the rate or direction of flow of water, then you're in compliance with the ordinance. The practicality, and the reason why I asked Grant that we should walk this is that people do stupid stuff. They put in footbridges, they put in undersized pipes, they build over the stream, they do lots of stupid stuff. And I just want to make sure that when this thing does go online, that it doesn't cause any harm to any residents. That's the reality. It's not required in the ordinance in particular, but it's a responsible thing to do. And especially if, the supervisors will ask the questions too. I know they will. And I just want to be able, that we all safely walk, that I know where it's eventually getting to, but can it get there safely and without issue? And if there is something where somebody's doing something, we'd have to evaluate what that is. I mean, we can't hold the developer like that to work on other people's property, but I think what Grant's saying is everything complies, but my look at these things is always what happens downstream, no matter what.
And I share those
This is in a
concerns.
township where past sins have happened, and we don't want to repeat those, yeah.
Sure, and I'm thinking the same way, and, I live in Timber Run, which is, just happens to be another Ryan home, although it wasn't, they weren't the developer. But, we have a pond that sits across 980 from us that, again, is designed for the 100-year floods or for the overflow on it. And I've lived there 12 or 13 years, and I've watched it overflow over the top of the overflow 3 times in 12 or 13 years. So that's where my thought process is coming from. I know that there's a lot of science and math that goes into figuring these things out, but I also know there's the reality once the work's done and the water hits the ground. There's the reality of what really happens after the property's developed, and I've watched it, to the detriment on more than one occasion. So I just want to make sure that we're dotting our I's and crossing our T's there. I do have concern about the overflow. Obviously, I understand that the overflow should not really need to come in, but I agree with Dan, maybe at the bottom of the riprap, that there's some type of catch basin instead of it flowing overground for that last, whatever it is there, I think it's like 10, 15, 20 feet, to then hit Burnside Road and then count on an inlet on Burnside Road to catch that discharge in that situation, that I think at that point would likely be overwhelmed in the likelihood of that scenario.
I think that what we're trying to do is take a walk to ensure that the path and the flow of water in a large storm event is not creating any dangerous or situations that would damage structures, right? In a storm event of that size, the water has to go somewhere, and that's typically over land, and we're just making sure that it's not really gonna pummel one of the houses downstream here. Taking the storm conveyance systems are designed to the 25-year storm. So at that point, when it gets to that large storm event, it's flowing over land because the pipes aren't sized to take that size storm event. So I think with all that said, we will take the walk, confirm where that water is going to be directed to, and just ensure that it does have a path downstream that we don't think is going to cause any risk for anybody involved.
I appreciate that. And I think I saw in your drawing here, it looks like at the entrance, you created a pull-off area for the for the cluster boxes?
Yes, there are 4 parking spaces, 2 handicap accessible spaces. Total of 4. There's also a parallel parking space. Yeah, the cluster mailbox is located here. So there's a pull off, but then there's also the 4 spaces.
Okay, because I saw that in the notes, so but I saw it in your drawing, so I'm assuming that that was added after the letter.
This has always been included. We actually, during preliminary plan approval, had that. The specific comment within the letter is to move the cluster mailbox outside of the right-of-way, which we currently have it right off the back of that pull-off space. We'll move it behind the sidewalk so that it's outside of the right-of-way.
Okay, that makes sense then. Anybody else? Do we have a motion?
We go ahead and make a motion, we approve the application number 2022-0022, Connell Trails Phase 3B Land Development, contingent upon the information contained in the July 21st, 2022 Gateway Engineers Letter.
My letter does address the off-site stormwater.
Do we want to add, do you want to add also the site walk?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
And also contingent upon a yet-to-be-determined site walk of the water flow beyond the property downstream.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved.
Thank you, Grant, and thank you, Dan, for so
Thank you.
patiently answering our questions.
You're welcome. Have a good evening.
You as well.
You
Thank
too.
you. All right, and the final item on the agenda for this evening, application 2022-0024, Dominic Dalbo, Plan of Lots amended, lot line revision. I do not see Bob here tonight.
Mr. Chairman, it's a more of a correction than anything else. I believe the first plan submitted, the line is slightly off, and that's, they're fixing that with this submission.
I did review the plan and had a July 13th letter. There's a couple minor comments that we had related to it, so I don't see any issue. I would recommend approval of this if you want to approve it tonight, contingent upon my letter, and we'll make sure it doesn't go to the supervisors till those items are taken care of. Mr. Saleh is usually pretty diligent about doing those things. Get them done. I don't know why I won't have him back already, but maybe he's on vacation.
Possible.
Any other questions or concerns? Do we have a motion?
I move to approve application number 2022-0024, Dalbo Plan of Lots amended, upon satisfaction of all the items included in the Gateway Engineers Letter dated July 13th, 2022.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Jack, I see nothing under ordinances, amendments, correspondence, and announcements. Do you have anything?
At this time, we did have a future land use map / comprehensive plan workshop. I believe there may be one more in the making, and probably be the final one. That's yet to be scheduled yet.
Is there a party on your farm when this finally gets passed?
Dan, do you have anything else for us?
No, I don't think that I do. Jack, isn't that, the map gonna be looked at again on August 1st? Yeah, There's another workshop, right?
Well, that's what he said, a workshop's upcoming, he just didn't have the date.
The only thing I have scheduled right now is,
Silver Creek.
right. I'd advertise that not more than 30, not less than 7, so I've got that scheduled, but I have not, I haven't heard on the workshop yet. So is it at August 1st?
You better, I mean, somebody should check their notes. I thought it was,
Okay.
right?
Tommy?
Yeah, because there were just a couple more changes, and we got I got the changes already made there.
Okay. Is that before or after the board meeting?
That'd be before.
I'll check it.
It's on that date, isn't it? Yeah.
Because, I mean, if we have the Silver Creek before the board meeting, because that's at 6, we'll have the board meeting at 7. The only time we could do the workshop is afterwards. So I'll double check it. I only need 24 hours to advertise that.
Yeah, it's 3 things on that date. That's a busy night for you.
No, that's not it. I'm just saying, we do it at a meeting, come around in the calendar, and I will memorize it, but I look every day.
No, I know, that's what I'm saying. But with Silver Creek being on the 1st, and then the supervisor meeting on the 1st, that's a busy night.
Yeah, I'll make sure everybody knows it.
Okay. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion approved?
Yes.